I'd say we made a lot more than that, but taking into account our profits and some other AM stations' profits, but all the losses, the overall bottom line for all 27 AM stations was $100,000 compared to mega millions that were made by 7 FM stations.
The truth is that listeners are leaving the AM band in droves, and they're taking precious advertising with them. AM stations have to scramble amongst themselves for 40% of the market, while the 2 commercial FM stations in most capital cities have a very healthy 60% of advertising.
There's just not that much advertising money around anymore. And with extra licences coming in the future, there'll be even less.
Until a month ago, Murray Nicol was Melbourne's top talkback host, but that didn't stop him from being sacked from the once profitable but troubled talk station 3AW.
You see, 3AW, for instance, the most successful AM station, is losing money. It's in the red, and it's been losing money for the last 2 or 3 years. It's been in trouble.
And 3AW is not the only one. Another example is Melbourne AM station 3XY. 15 months ago, the Catholic Church paid $12 million for this one-time teeny bopper favourite. 3 months ago, it changed hands again, this time for less than $2 million. And there's Alan Bond's AM station 3AK. It's up for sale, but no one's rushing to buy it. Bond's bid more than $30 million for FM licences to upgrade his stations in Melbourne and Perth, but so far hasn't come up with the money.
In, say, a decade, there won't be as many AM stations around. I think there'll be more FM stations. AM, I think, will be reserved to talk.
In the wild and unpredictable world of radio, it's not just the number of listeners that's important. It's who they are and how much they spend. Tend to be young, single and wealthy. It's their money the radio stations and the advertisers want. But this is a group that tends to listen to music. 10 years that FM's been on the scene, AM music stations have nosedived. They've lost 70% of their teenage listeners. AM talkback has fared a little better with a recent audience increase. But it all looks small time next to FM, that's literally gone through the roof. The latest crunch has come about because of the government's new policy on FM radio. In the past, licences weren't issued unless they could be shown to be economically viable. But now the government is selling them to the highest bidder, and it's up to the new owners whether they sink or swim.
There was no impost placed on television stations when they converted from black and white to colour. And that's really the difference between AM and FM in music radio.
Is the government taking advantage of the situation?
Absolutely. I mean, we argued as chairman of the Radio AM group for the free conversion for all stations. For a station like ours that has been operating in the marketplace under the same ownership for 59 years, to be placed with this financial burden at this time, we think is quite wrong.
And the B-52s on Triple M on this Wednesday morning. Listen to the radio.
And Louise Martin reporting, and I'm glad I'm in television. It's comparatively quiet compared to the old radio industry. A bit rough out there at the moment. Looks like AM radio having a few problems.